Welcome to Biztech Property Show, the show where we look at property markets globally and give you insights to help you better manage your existing properties, get better returns, and also help you to make better decisions about your future purchases. Today, we zoom in on the Malaysian property market and the impact of foreign buyers. And here to give us his insights is our guest today, Kashif Ansari, JUWAI Group co-founder and CEO. Now, Cash, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. It's an honor. It's an honor. I'm really amazed, excited. I'm seeing what you have done a great job on with the technology as well as the business. Amazing. And that's the future, Brian, and you are on it. Amazing. So really honored to be here on your show.
Thank you very much. Kashif, could you start by giving us an overview of JUWAI?
Okay, so JulyIQ is one of the Asia's largest PropTech digital real estate group. And then the beauty is we are in more than 20 countries. Our super app and the platform which connect the real estate agent globally to our platform is more than 23,000 at the moment. So, and on the real estate transaction, if you talk about our growth is more than 100%. We are one of the fastest growing real estate group, especially in Southeast Asia and globally. So that's so quite active. And due to pandemic, because we are digitally advanced, it's really benefit the team member globally quite benefit with our platform. So that's the reason our 2020, 2021 is much better than 2019 and 2018. So that's what we are.
That's good to hear. So today you wanted to focus on the Malaysian property market, which has been rather lackluster of the last couple of years. And this worsened during the pandemic. Foreign buyers used to be a very significant part of transactions locally in Malaysia, but obviously that's dropped off. Give us some perspective of the Malaysian property market overall.
Exactly. So Malaysian market is quite definitely, it's not only Malaysia, the whole world is affected, due to COVID. And when it comes to foreign buyers contribute around 6 to 10%, 13% of the foreign investor buying in Malaysian real estate sector. But I think what we have seen is now things are opening up. So definitely they'll be more exciting. But if you look at the Malaysian real estate market, how it had been performed even in 2020, 2021, it's quite amazing. People, they are investing and the trend has been changed. What we have seen in 2018 and 19, people, they're going for the small house. So, we are quite active in Malaysian real estate market. So I'm now talking about the local market. What happened is people are going into, because, COVID have changed. Real estate or your home is not only the place you live, it's where you work, where it's your gym, it's your restaurant, it's your kids' school, right?
Yes.
So everything. So this really helped. And we being a data-driven real estate company, the platform. So what helps us, we were able to communicate and pass on more data, what exactly the consumer is looking for. The trend have changed. And Malaysian consumer, they have changed, and we were able to launch a specific kind of product, which really helped us on our sales. And if you see the growth in the real estate market of Malaysia, it's quite amazing. Coming to the foreign buyer, definitely the border is closed. There's a lot of restriction. So that's the reason there's not that much foreign buyer buying properties in Malaysia at the moment. But 2022, things are getting better. Globally, market has been open, so we are quite positive, and we have seen some inquiries are coming up. And due to the YTL lane, which opened between Singapore, Thailand, Brunei, and some other countries, we are seeing that people are coming back and looking into our property. So excitement is coming back.
Kashif, tell us a little bit about the insights that you just mentioned in terms of Malaysian buyers now looking at bigger properties. What data supports that? Tell us about the key trends and what they've been buying.
I think, earlier, the trend, if you've seen, they're going for 500, 600 square foot apartment. And that was the reason, because totally understand it's more into the city. And that's what earlier, that trend we were seeing, smaller unit, more compact. But due to COVID, this is where the things have changed. And another main thing what happened, the ownership or having your own property that trend on Gen Y and Gen Z was not there. They were like, okay, I'll be continuous on move, I'll be traveling. So do I really need to buy a house? Do I really need to own a house? But that trend has changed. So we have seen a lot of first time home buyer, and these are the young, like Gen Y and Gen Z, who were having this impression that, do I really need a property? I can rent out. So, like, why to invest? But most of our buyer in 2021 was the first time home buyer. These are Gen Y, Gen Z. They totally understand the importance of home buying, like home quarantine, home place. So it was so much home. It was good advertisement for the real estate sector, but that's what happened. They realized the importance of having an own home. So I think, and then work from home culture has been started. We can see, yes, people are going back to office, but like maybe partially there will be a lot of people who really want to work from home. So you need a place. It's not like studio or a small unit. You need a place where there'll be I think that what has been started now, it won't be totally out. Yes, people, we are human. We need human interaction, like we are social animal, right? So yes, you need it, but I think the trend have changed. So property, when it's come to the property, people are going for the bigger houses. They need space. It's not about like studio. They need a more space. They totally understand. I need a place where I can, where I can, like I have my Zoom meeting, or maybe my kids will having a class. So that's mindset have changed. So this is the trend what I've seen.
Okay, but also then the challenge then was around one of the reasons prior to COVID that apartments were getting smaller is because the quantums were going up, and housing affordability was an issue in Malaysia. Does that mean that, for example, in the Klang Valley, housing outside or further out, say in Semenyih, for example, saw greater demand because you could afford for the same amount of money as the 500 square foot apartment, right? In PJ, you could buy a double-story link house further out. Is that what you've been seeing as well in 2021?
Yes, definitely there be. And then what I've shared earlier is, like the data we have provided to the developer. So even, like if, because earlier the idea was like small apartment, because exactly what you've seen, like what will be the end price, and the things was getting so expensive. So they were buying the whole. So but like the way we structure the developers, even in the city, like even in Selangor, and I'm talking about like Old Klang Road, and these are near to the cities, right? Your city center. But what the developers have done, they were able to create a better layout. So it's not about like instead of 600, they're going for 1,000 or 1,200, but they're able to create more space. So yes, there are people, because at the end of the day, Gen Y, Gen Z, yes, they are buying landed houses, but the 50% of them, they still want to be in the city. So the trend would have changed, and I really appreciate the kind of effort done by the developer to cater the market and the need. So, like because I remember 2017, 2018, there was a time, like because if your house is more than 1,000 square feet, it was difficult to sell, right? Nobody was interested. 1,400, 1,500, and even so that's why the developers going down to 800 to 600 square feet. But now you're seeing there more bigger units are coming in, and there is a take. People, they are buying it. So that's what happened. That's the change what happened. It's 50-50.
Okay, so one of the things is we've had an oversupply of, particularly in the Klang Valley, in Johor, and in Penang, of properties, particularly in the condominium market. How is that shaping up now? Is that overhang being eliminated?
It will take time, because they have been designed specifically for different kind of consumer. What we have seen now, so there is a take on that, but what we have seen is like specific requirement from the consumer side. Like the Johor one is, it's bit, as I say, take different. It was designed and catered for the specific kind of clientele.
So the Johor in particular, if we look at Johor and the whole Iskandar project, that was really around very much catered to Chinese buyers, Singaporean buyers, and so forth. And obviously, the Johor market has been hit severely in the last 2 years. Do you? And what are the key reasons in your opinion, that Chinese buyers were really attracted to Johor?
I think Malaysia had set a good, present them good in with COVID situation, how they handle, how they manage. Globally, we have seen, because we are a global player, we have seen kind of like how some countries, they were not able to manage it properly. So I think Malaysia they have performed quite good. People, they too understand, like if God forbid, if any kind of situation comes in, Malaysia is the good destination to be in. So that's quite interesting. So we are, and then, like with the requirement of the chip plant, you recently have seen 2 months back, Intel is investing more on the chip plant in Malaysia.
Yeah.
They're investing. And so I think Malaysia has put them in the right position for the global investor to come in. So that's when, like the medical infrastructure, how you manage COVID restrictions, how the economy survived. There was not a disaster. If you've seen some of the countries in the neighborhood, it was really disaster. People were on the road, they don't have job. But how the Malaysian authorities and the government have managed the situation is quite remarkable. So what we have seen, I think this is, once the border will open, what they're looking for, people they're looking for to go to the places or relocate themselves where, if God forbid, anything happens again, they know like everything will be taken care of. I think with the infrastructure. So coming to Johor market, I think once the border will open, definitely, like people, I'm telling you, the people, the kind of inquiries we are coming, because we do have a platform, our JUWAI.com, which is a portal which is quite popular with the Chinese because it's in Mandarin. We have seen the interest of the people inquiring about the real estate market in Malaysia and Johor, because you can see the trend, like they're inquiring, they're looking into it. They say like, okay, once the pandemic is open, this is the destination.
And also because of the fact that within China itself, the conditions in the real estate market have changed very dramatically. And so they're not looking internally, they're probably looking out as a result to put their money.
Agree. Because if you've seen, it's like the property, most of the property companies in China have negative 50%, right? Yes. And so it's quite, and the Chinese, like if I look into the trend of Chinese investor, they always like to diversify their investment. And I think that trend is just like for last 2 years, they're not able to travel. They love real estate, and in respect of, like they were investing in China earlier. I think they'll come back to invest their own homeland as well. But definitely, they love real estate, and then they love to diversify. And Malaysia is one of the destinations. They feel, like they feel like home. I have friends from China, and when they come to Malaysia, they feel so relaxed. They, they can speak their language. There's not an issue. They culturally fit quite fast. So when you're talking a home where you want to put your family, you're looking for kind of environment there you feel more secure, and I think Malaysia provide them all that. So definitely Malaysian real estate market will be quite interesting. With whatever happening globally, Malaysia is the good destination for the Chinese investor to come in.
So would they come in as investors to house their families, or do they look at parking money in real estate investments, for example, to take advantage of when the borders open, for example, international students returning to study in Malaysia? Because Malaysia, after all, has had significant international students coming and renting properties, obviously, or buying properties, but that's all ceased in the last 2 years.
Yes, sir. So definitely, to Chinese investor, we have, like again, investors, definitely the Chinese investor who are investing in the real estate sector, who are just looking, I won't say to park money, to make sure, like Malaysia being the growing, or the country which is the GDP its growth is much better compared to Europe and some of the other countries. So they are looking for investing in a country where the growth is. Young population, so like that's how everything is attractive. Because other thing is that you're in the right track. Digital, the future technologies are in Malaysia, chips, and how technologically so investor, they're quite interesting to invest in the real estate sector in the place where the GDP growth is better, the country is growing. On the second, as I say, the Chinese investor Chinese investor who are looking to move their family to Malaysia because of the education. You rightly said before that there's a lot of Chinese students coming now to Malaysia. And I think, like with some restriction for Chinese institution, a student going to US definitely will benefit Malaysia university sector university. And because, like again, the good accreditation, all the international universities, here in Malaysia, the culture, it suits. And now what we have seen after COVID, they want their kids, the families to be more secure environment and with the good infrastructure. What happened in US, difficult to get visa. Australia, again, some restriction for Chinese students. I think we are quite positive. It will definitely, Malaysia will benefit. And it's in their radar. It's not that the Malaysia has to market them that this is the first time you're coming to Malaysia. There are a lot of Chinese students who are still already studying in Malaysia. So we are hopeful, like those who are not going to US or Australia, please come to Malaysia.
Okay. And so besides China, which other countries are you seeing investment interest from in Malaysia?
Very interesting, like the Japan and Korea, where these are the two markets. Japanese investors were quite attractive earlier, like recently we have seen the Bukit Bintang city center, the Mizuho shopping center. It's all being invested by the Japanese investor. But now we are seeing the families coming in from Japan, and they are relocating their kids. We have seen some students from Japan and Korea. Apart from that, like you can see, like definitely from Europe, some of the European countries, you can see, and then from Southeast Asia, Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. These are the countries where a lot of students are coming in. So again, more secure. Like how it happens, if you see, there was Malaysia, truly Asia, and then the 2020, it's just the COVID happened. It was the year of Malaysia. And there's a lot of people travel who came with the families, and Malaysia was able to sell or show the hospitality and how they will taking care of their kids if their kids come here and study. So I think these are the countries which is coming. But as I say, quite international, definitely, and for sure, China, Japan, Korea, and then the Southeast Asia. These are the people who are coming in.
On the flip side, for them to stay longer, one of the methods that they use to stay, which enabled them to stay longer, is Malaysia, my second home. There have been changes to the rules, which probably have been less favorable and have received unfavorable publicity. What are your thoughts on that, and what can Malaysia do to make itself more attractive?
Yeah, so we totally understand the concern from the authorities, because they have a longer view, being the government. They understand what was the earlier result, and yes, we can, for the layman is like, oh, you were able to get thousands of people and thousands of billions of ringgit. But I think they have specific tasks. They're looking for high net worth individual to come and stay on the Malaysia My Second Home program. So, but what we have seen, the current government, we have been discussion, and we being one of the largest, PropTech group related to real estate, and then in Malaysia, I think there is a flexibility. They are really considering whatever is needed and can be done, which is positive. So it's not that like, okay, this is how it is. And they're seeing how the trend is going. So currently the data, what we have and from the government is like, they have received around 111 application for the new process, if this 111 application, the process and everything they approve, so you're talking about R1 billion in the deposit of Malaysia. So compared to how many applications they will receive, so there is an interest. There is still interest, and it's so they are looking for the specific kind of people who come and stay in Malaysia, because the cost of living, the lifestyle, which is good, they are attracting. So it's a government policy, but so two side of it, the old MM2H applicant who are used to of having that, yes, they do have some queries and there's some concern, but I think the recent government, what they have done, the old application, they haven't touched them. They say they'll continue as it is, which is again quite positive. So new applicant, they have received 111, which is with the new setup. So I think the government are seeing like how the market react, but I think We are positive what we have seen in Malaysia. The government always listen and they see whatever is good for the country, they adapt to it. So if there is a big impact, definitely they'll do it. So we are optimistic. They are positive.
So Kashif, just listening to your conversation over the last almost 20 minutes, I get the sense that the property market, while not performing very well in the last couple of years, is really poised for strong growth in the next year or two in particular as borders open up. And what are your thoughts on this?
For sure, like the trend, as I say, first-time home buyer, interest in home buying, the trend has changed. The importance of having a house has been tremendous, like the new generation, the new gen who are saying, oh, I'll relocate myself, I'll move. So we are quite positive, the kind of trend we are seeing. And the cost of living, the cost inflation globally is not Malaysia. Everywhere the prices are going up. So whatever you're seeing the prices right now in Malaysia, it's quite attractive. So I think for the investor, for the layman, they have seen, like what was 10 years back and what is now. So you don't have to wait. This is the time to invest. Things are getting expensive. So if you compare with Tokyo, New York, and Singapore, like the Gen Y, Gen Z, it's out of their reach. So Malaysian youth and the youngster, or I say the new entrepreneur or the Gen Y, Gen Z, right? They understand still is affordable. The banking sector is supporting them. The first home buyer is supported, and the real estate is something which definitely, and plus what's happened globally, they have seen how the currencies has been turning, like US dollar, maybe what will happen so much printed in last 2 years, right? So what they're seeing is I think real estate is the best thing to hedge your money. Whatever you buy now, you won't get this price. So that's how we are 2022, 2023. We have seen the quite of excitement, and then like the project we have launched. Just to give you an idea, our sales we are up more than 150%, and that's the reason, that's the trend. Because they are quite selective. That's how it's changed. It's
And
not
Kashif, where is the bulk of the local activity? What sort of price points is that happening at?
It's like in US dollar, $200,000 plus. So these are the things, which is a good, decent amount. So again, is Malaysia, like earlier, maybe it's 100,000. No, it's 200,000 and plus, and maybe around 180 to 200,000. That's very exciting. That's very interesting. But these are, as I say, these are first-time home buyer. These are youngster, millennial, and they understand the importance of real estate. So it's really helping. So it's not the kind of buyer which you see okay, comes in, I don't want to see the property, just get it. No, they have specific requirement, but they're serious and they're buying.
Kashif, thank you very much for taking your time to come on the show. It's been a fascinating and enlightening conversation.
Thank you, Brian. Really honored and looking forward to have more conversation with you.
Now, I'm Brian Fernandez, and we've been speaking to Kashif Ansari, JUWAI Group co-founder and CEO, on Biztech's Property Show. This video and podcast will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our social media platforms. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thanks again for tuning in.